It's Tuesday, June 30, and this is your Barbados Today Evening News Update. In a shock move today, the president of the Barbados Union of Teachers, Sean Spencer, called it quits, while a former leader of the union signaled he's ready to return to the helm of the union. Spencer, who survived a no-confidence motion almost 9 months ago, announced his resignation in a brief post on Facebook. He did not give a reason, but expressed thanks to the membership for their support. The BUT is gearing up for elections, and today former union president PEDRO, who is contesting upcoming elections set for August, told Barbados Today he's up for the job.
If he chose to remove his name, then my name should be the only name on the ballot paper. So I look forward to that ballot paper being placed in the public domain. And once it's placed in the public domain and I am the unopposed person for the post, then I will start to look at how I would chart the course of beauty going forward.
In other news this Tuesday, the second phase of the expansion of the Accident and Emergency Department at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital should be completed within the next 8 months. Minister of Health and Wellness, Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic, today revealed that the project has been delayed by almost 2 months due to the COVID-19 pandemic. He said the expected cost of the project has also increased from 11 million to 13.5 million as a result of that delay.
We had to delay, we had to stop because obviously all of us had to take care of the impact and the response of COVID-19. So I'm glad that it has restarted, and I'm happy at what I've been seeing here this morning. And certainly when I look at the plans for the entire project, I think that this is something that Barbadians are going to be exceedingly excited and proud about.
Government's plans to safely resume commercial flights at the Grantley Adams International Airport got a major boost today. Sagicor Life donated 3 new thermal imaging scanners valued at $300,000 Barbados dollars. 2 will be installed at the airport and the other at the QEH. Health and Wellness Minister Lieutenant Colonel Bostic says it's a critical move.
When we recognize the importance of having the thermal scanners, that importance has increased significantly and exponentially since those days, because we are now at the stage of reopening our country to receive international flights and obviously visitors again to our shows. And this gift here at this hospital, first of all, will go a long way towards the reopening of the hospital to visitors and for us to be able to control and contain any eventuality.
Sagicor's Executive Vice President Paul Ennis says the scanners will help to identify possible COVID-19 cases.
These full-body scanners will assist with the identifying potential carriers of the virus as they enter our nation's primary medical facility. And with the planned reopening of this island's borders, the threat of COVID-19 is ever present, and so we are certain that there will be an asset to our medical teams at the airport as well.
A CARICOM flag is now standing tall at government headquarters at a special ceremony today, just 4 days before the celebration of CARICOM Day. Barbados' ambassador to CARICOM, David Commichong, hoisted the flag in the company of a number of representatives of regional associations. Ambassador Commichong said the symbolic move is a demonstration of CARICOM's determination to make its mark in the world and stand as one bloc on the international stage.
This is a major step forward because we have all come to recognize that there's some major things that we need to accomplish in this international arena. There are major things we need to do, whether it's on climate change, whether it's on getting the international financial institutions to reform their policies, to remove these discriminatory policies they have against developing countries like ours in the Caribbean. Whether it is that new moral international leadership that Prime Minister Motley has called for, there are massive things that need to be done. And we recognize that no single CARICOM state can accomplish those major things on their own. We recognize that when we bring together our collective strength, we are indeed a force to be reckoned with.
Government is moving to ensure that children with special needs have the right tools to engage in online classes. Word of this from Chief Education Officer Joy Adamson as she received a donation of 21 specially designed desktop tablets from the Robinson Smiles and Hope Foundation, who were assisted by businesswoman Shelley Williams.
These tablets we identified Anthill and the Irvin Wilson School as two schools that would benefit greatly from these large tablets that will be positioned on the desk. What we are also aiming to do is to get some iPads, some Apple iPads that has a little bit more accessibility than the traditional tablets for the special needs children. So we are working with those children constantly, and the teachers, I know that the teachers for the special needs schools, they have gone beyond their regular duty because they actually have to take work for some of the students who are able to get online.
Board member of the foundation, journalist Maria Bradshaw, said the Robinsons were determined to help the island's less fortunate students.
When the pandemic came about, Julia reached out to me after hearing that the Ministry of Education was starting its online program. Julia reached out to me and she said, we have to help. There are so many children in Barbados who are not going to be able to afford the devices. She set up a GoFundMe page looking to raise $1,000. There was overwhelming response and she was able to surpass that number by $500. She partnered with a Google company and as a result was able to source these devices. As you can see, they're not the regular small device. They're pretty big, they're desktops. They're very user-friendly. Obviously, we had some difficulties getting them to Barbados. There are actually 21 of them. And Julia would have reached out on Facebook asking for any business person who could assist her, and Shelley Williams readily agreed. So this was a great partnership between the foundation and Shelley Williams. Without her help, these devices probably wouldn't be here so soon.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news, fiery protests in and around Port of Spain this morning as east of Port of Spain, Laventille, Marvon and Beetham residents called for the intervention of the National Security Minister and the Commissioner of Police following the shooting death of 3 men in Marvon on Saturday. The National Security Minister Stuart Young condemned the violent protests and charged that they were well planned. More on this report from TTT News.
These obviously orchestrated attempts that are now spreading are just that. The information that has come to hand is that these are being orchestrated. Persons on the ground have personally contacted me to say money is being paid to persons to go out and to create disturbance.
The words of National Security Minister Stuart Young on Tuesday in response to violent demonstrations in North Trinidad. The riots came on the heels of the shooting deaths of 3 men who were killed in Morval by members of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service last weekend. At the press conference, Minister Young denounced the violent activity and said this type of behavior was not what's expected of law-abiding citizens. He said there were people who were being paid for their involvement and the payments were made by an unspecified party.
On who is behind the stirring up of the criminal elements. When we're getting reports from the ground of people being paid to go and create disturbance, who is it that are paying people? Who is it that stands to gain by disrupting the peace and quiet of our city of Port of Spain?
The National Security Minister urged members of the public not to panic and said full protection is being provided for law-abiding citizens.
The Defence Force are going to provide full support to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. And we are going to protect all of our law-abiding citizens, regardless of where you are.
Minister Young acknowledged that emotions were high at the time, but assured that the matters were being investigated by both the Police Complaints Authority and the TTPS. He also confirmed that political leader of the New National Vision, Fuad Abubakar, was arrested for his involvement in Tuesday's protests in Port of Spain.
On the international front, Kenya's poorest region is buckling under the strain of a new generation of locusts that is destroying crops. We get the details from Reuters Television.
The number of locusts in East Africa exploded in late 2019, exacerbated by unusual weather patterns that have been amplified by climate change. But this generation has hatched in Kenya's poorest region, and the young locusts are eating everything in sight.
They destroy our maize, poultry, so it gives us a hard time.
Turkana is a vast, dry scrubland in northwest Kenya that borders Uganda, South Sudan and Ethiopia. Daniel Kirura, head of the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization in Turkana, where 20 million people were already struggling for food, says the locusts are destabilizing an already bad situation. But he also warns that within a week, wings could mature, meaning they'll be able to travel up to 80 miles a day.
Our prayer is that we try to arrest that because they can go and cause problems in other countries and other regions. So our wish is to control them before they leave Turkana County.
He says teams are working frantically to spray the locusts with insecticide before they become airborne, while the farmers use tin drums to scare the locusts away from their dwindling crops.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.